Hello and welcome to the Unproblematic Podcast, episode 4. We've made it this far. I'm actually surprised. And today, we've actually got way less people than usual. It's getting less and less each time. But, I don't think it's that big of a deal. So today we've got me, of course, I forgot to introduce myself last time. Sona, the smart guy, and Sarabraj, the vegan gay person. How you lot doing?
Lovely jubbly.
Yep, I'm doing good. Excited for the topic at hand.
Exactly, yeah, aliens. We've been sitting on this one for a while because you were like, we wanted to do it last time, but we did fear instead.
Besides the grand finale, of course, the one that
Yeah, of course.
To.
That's the season finale. I can't wait for that one as well.
Yep.
The topic, if you haven't read the title of the video, is aliens. So what I've decided to do for this one is we're gonna have like a quick question, and then we're gonna jump into the big discussion stuff, right? So I think we'll just jump right in because we've got a lot to talk about and not do a general thing. But I want to ask you lot, what would be scarier, a universe where we are alone or a universe with other life in it? What do you think?
I personally believe scary with other life, probably because I've seen way too many alien films like Independence Day and Predator and Alien. So
those are all class films.
Probably more scarier.
Independence Day is underrated,
Yeah, I agree. That's very underrated. That was scary. Aliens just come and just destroy our world.
Yeah,
that's scary.
Yeah.
That's scarier.
What if it's scarier whether there is life out there or not? Is that the question?
So would it be scarier to be in a universe where we're the only life, we're all alone, or would it be scarier to have someone else be there? Other life.
The likelihood of us being alone is so incredibly tiny that I think there's no point in even contemplating that as a question.
Yeah, but would you find what's scarier though? That's not even what it would be, but if it's scarier. Because for me, I think being all alone is the scariest thing.
Why?
Because it's like there's no one else out there. It's just us in this massive universe. It's also depressing as well.
True,
there's nothing left then.
We've got the entire universe for ourselves, so
Yeah, that's true too.
Yeah, but just got to be smart enough to explore it. That's what you have to
hopefully we'll be able to get to a point where we can.
Yeah, get Elon Musk.
That's going to be one of the topics as well. How we would get there. I've got some ideas.
I'm sort of impartial to that. I really, honestly wouldn't care if we were alone or if we weren't alone. It doesn't really affect us.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Unless they're a hyper-intelligent species that is deciding to come and colonize our planet, then I would care. But
yeah, it's funny that you say that because the next quick question is, what would the scariest message be to receive from aliens? And what do you think? Like, would you expect something like, "Oh, we are going to destroy our planet"? Because that seems kind of generic. What would you guys think?
I think the scariest thing would be quiet. They'll hear you.
Oh yeah.
Oh.
That'd be a mad level. Like,
oh my god! Thinking about that.
Or like large screaming and then just silence or something like that.
Yeah.
For me, I've written, "You are the last. Be better than us," and that's what I've got. Like, you are the last ones left. Do better than we did. And I can just imagine all humans saying no and just launching the nukes and destroying us all.
Oh man, that's how the world's gonna end, I think.
That'd be scary though, because then it'd be like, why are they dead? What happened to them? Who did it?
Man, there are loads of crazy cases about all of that. Obviously we're probably going to get into the Great Filter later on.
Yep, that's also a topic. Salad, what do you think the scariest message would be to receive from an alien?
I agree with what Sona said.
So, cool.
That was pretty scary, I was thinking about it.
Quiet. That's an extension of the Great Filter, actually.
The scariest message? We all know the scariest message would be, this alien transmitter has been sponsored by Raid Shadow Legends. That'd be the scariest thing to receive.
Yeah, man.
I'd actually like die if that was...
Didn't they send like back in the 80s of people playing video games and they sent it out to space?
Is that the movie Pixels?
Yeah, did they actually do that?
I don't think that was real, mate.
Yeah, I don't think a giant Pac-Man that actually existed.
He's asking if we sent video games up.
We did send video. I think we did send messages though. We sent a note from a president.
No, we sent a disc. It was a golden disc that has coordinates to where our planet is, and it has some. If you run it in binary or something, it shows you like pictures of common things on our planet and the human anatomy, which is basically like saying, here's all of our weaknesses, guys, and this is exactly
come
where
and take
we are.
advantage.
Yeah,
You know what the aliens are going to do? The aliens probably think of our discs like floppy disks and think, why are they still using this?
They probably wouldn't even know what it is. Some archaic, ancient
Yes.
relic.
They'd probably eat it. Like, let's be honest. Oh, that's another thing. Do you guys think aliens are smarter than us, or the same as us, or dumber than us? If they do exist, what do you think?
after watching way too many films, I think they're smarter than us. Let's be real. I
Yeah.
think this was evidence, like in Egypt time. I don't know. I heard this weird theory that the pyramids were actually built by aliens instead of humans.
Oh yeah,
Oh, man.
Stonehenge as
Have you
well.
heard about that?
I know, but they always blame every old structure on aliens. Like, come on.
Yeah, but the thing is, the
And
Stonehenge one makes kind of sense because they carried ginormous rocks from so far away without
but
wheels existing.
there was a guy on YouTube that showed like how you can do it with like by taking advantage of physics.
But they really knew what physics were at the time. Like,
No, but they had that's why basically I hold this view that I don't think like knowledge and technology is always progressing throughout time. I think we have periods of like where we know a lot of stuff, and then there's like a dark ages where we just lose that knowledge and then it comes back to us.
I think it's like when like man discovers fire for the first time, he doesn't like actually find out how does fire work. It just happens. It's probably like something like that.
he just burns
You
it,
know,
or he gets burnt
yeah,
from.
just so made fire. That's great, but I don't know how it works. But I don't care. I know how to make it. So,
Yeah, that's something we
it's
should
something
go
like
over
that.
at some point. All right, yeah. So we've gone over. So let's go into the meat and potatoes of it. I think we'll start with this one because I know Sona was really excited about this one. So you're gonna have to do
I'm
a bit of explaining
vegetarian,
for the
man.
audience. But do you want to explain
Vegetarian,
what the
just meat.
Fermi Paradox and Grapefruit theory are?
Oh right, okay, two big topics.
Yeah, we're gonna group them into one, I think, because they are the same, similar.
All right. The Fermi Paradox was actually devised by I think it's Fred. I forgot Fermi. What's his first name? I'm wondering.
Let's look out.
Enrico Fermi. That's it. I knew it was Italian. It sounded Italian to me. And he's the guy who made he's known as the father of the atomic bomb, right? Because he helped with it a lot, which isn't something I'd want to be associated with, but whatever. He basically came up with the idea that the parameters for life should be, if they're relatively simple, then we should have like hundreds of thousands of different species within our galaxy alone.
Yeah.
But yeah, because if you look at it from a scientific perspective, what we need for life isn't too complicated. Like we just need water, a certain primordial soup of elements, and you'll eventually get there, right? Obviously, we don't know how rare this happens, but we know that the process itself is pretty simple. So he basically, but we haven't. The problem is that we haven't seen any life whatsoever. Like, obviously, we haven't, but there's no life on this planet as far as we're concerned, and that's paradoxical in nature because standing life should be everywhere, but we don't see it at all.
Yeah, didn't they find a bacteria living in some area or something?
Mars, isn't it? Martian bacteria. Yeah,
Found in.
Are you
like
sure?
it was like something had like acidic conditions. So.
Are you sure? Because I feel like it might have been bacteria from Earth that was found on Mars.
It might have been. I'm not too sure exactly how it worked, but I think I read somewhere that they had this bacteria that was specialized to survive in really acidic conditions, and I'm not sure what exactly where it was, but it was a long time ago. It might have been false. Right, I'm not too sure.
And so, does anyone know what the Great Filter is, by the way? Do you guys know what it is?
No.
I looked up and I've already forgotten.
So the Great Filter is basically an answer. It's almost an answer to the Fermi Paradox. It's the idea that there are certain barriers that every organism needs to pass in order to become basically a species, in order to become alive. And we don't know exactly where that barrier is. So there are like a certain number of possibilities. Either that big step that a lot of species don't get, but we just happen to have gotten, is literally cells, right? From non-cells to cells. That might be the huge step that no other planet has managed to do, and we've just managed to do it, and we're incredibly lucky, right?
Yeah, it could just be one of those drunken experiments nature does sometimes.
Exactly, and we've managed to pass that barrier, that step, that huge step. We've managed it, and we're incredibly lucky because of it. Because now it means we can prosper into a giant species. The other perspective on this is that, in fact, I've forgotten what it's called. Why have I forgotten this? Ibrahim, remind me.
What do you mean? You put me on the
The
spot.
Great Filter, yeah, of course. I don't know why my mind went blank for a second.
Yeah, the Great
But
Filter.
the Great Filter, there's the idea that, in fact, the Great Filter might actually be ahead of us, and it might be when a species becomes gets to a certain level of technological advancement that they eventually destroy themselves.
Oh yeah, I remember reading about this. Yeah.
Right. And so basically, we don't. That's the whole idea, that maybe there is a certain step that is really hard for life to overcome, and we've either just passed it or we're about to come up to it and we're doomed, which is nice.
Yeah. That's good. Both of those sound like awful. What do you think? Do you think we're ahead of the barrier or behind it?
I think we're behind it. I'll explain why, but I want to know Sarah Bodge's views on it.
Go on, Cyrbrush.
I think we're just devolving. I think that's what we are. It's devolving.
Devolving.
Yeah, devolving.
Yeah, we're evolving backwards now.
Anti-vaxxers.
So,
Wait, how can you... Devolving doesn't make sense. That's like saying
I mean,
reverse
evolving-
racism again. Doesn't make
Evolving
sense.
backwards.
I don't know. I just feel like technology's taken us and we just stopped evolving now. Technically, we have, but it's all
Yeah, I mean,
technology.
kind of.
Do you think the Great Barrier, the Great Filter's ahead of us though, or?
I don't know. I think we probably just got lucky with it, really.
Do you think we're
Yeah, I
the
mean, we
only
got
planet?
lucky with a lot of things. So
Yeah, what do you think actually, Ibs? Do you think it's
I think
ahead
it's, but I think we're good for the future. Like, I think we've passed it, because to create the chances of us going from non-organic life to turning into life are so slim anyway, that I feel like that was the barrier. And the
That-
fact is that no other planets have been able to do that, because we were just a steaming ball of rocks before, right? And then it started raining, everything cooled down, and then there was bacteria. So all that stuff, like, it came from nothing, and I think that's the barrier. So we've passed it. I'm thinking.
That's exactly what I disagree with, Ibrahim, and I'll explain
Perfect.
why.
Now we can discuss.
Right, because there's an experiment done called the Miller Ure Experiment,
Uh-huh.
where they wanted to simulate what Earth was like in its early days. Like, obviously, when it was basically just a big hot hunk of rock in space with lava and rain
Yep.
everywhere, right? Thunder. So what they got is they had a mixture of, I think, hydrogen and ammonia and nitrogen, which were the most common elements back then, right?
Mhm.
And they conducted electricity through it to simulate lightning at the time.
Okay.
And what they found were it developed that the result of that reaction actually created amino acids.
Damn.
20 different types of amino acids, which, as you know, Ibrahim, because you do biology, right?
Yep.
Amino acids make proteins, and proteins do
Proteins,
any
yep.
number of things in the body, which, is an indicator of life. So I
Yeah.
think that step is relatively easy to overcome.
I think,
yeah.
The problem is no other planets have done it, and there are storms and lightnings. I mean, you can look at, I don't know, Neptune, for example. A lot of planets, they have these things, but the fact that we have the mixture of ammonia... Wait, what were they again?
Ammonia,
Nitrogen.
hydrogen, and nitrogen.
Yeah, the fact that we have that combination and no other planets really have it and have life, it feels like we rolled the dice and we got the ones that we needed, and it seems like it was incredibly lucky for us. Because I feel like other planets, like, I agree with Fermi Paradox, like, why aren't there more life if it's that simple? If that isn't the big barrier, I'm pretty sure we would have had life, or at least signs of life.
Mm.
So that's why I think. Why do you think it's ahead of us, by the way?
What I just explained why.
Yeah, but like,
That's
it could
easy.
just not be ahead of us. Like, it could just not be there.
Well, I think basically thinking that only nitrogen and ammonia, those are the only components you need, those are essential for life, is narrow. I think, like, life could evolve in many different ways that require different elements for it to overcome. Would you think about this, Arabaj, again, about the Miller Ure experiment?
I think, after you said that, I actually kind of agree with you, because if it can create amino acids like that means it can surely be a sign of life then.
Yeah.
Really.
I felt like that was like
After you said that, I agree with you. You
Yeah.
got me convinced.
I feel like it's such an underrated experiment. No one ever talks about it. It's so annoying because it's like
I haven't even heard of it.
I
Yeah,
know,
exactly.
but it basically like proves that we can go from non-life to life.
I wonder what would happen if you actually did that on another planet and just like left it to do it.
Oh,
I feel like they should try something like
who
that.
knows?
Saying that might
Who
take
knows?
thousands of years for like humans to form or something like that. Some
Millions,
life
millions,
form.
man.
Millions, yeah, no, it'd take way longer than that. Because obviously this was at a small scale. At a large scale, it'd take a long time, I'd imagine.
What was
So
that?
yeah, you guys think we're doomed? That at some point we're all gonna die?
Oh yeah,
Oh yeah,
Certainly.
definitely. Definitely. There's like this cycle on Earth, like every 100,000 years, like it changes, like the climate changes,
Mm.
and just it's got. I think right now, I don't know. I read about it that we're actually in the ice age, and then like another like I don't know, 100,000 years is gonna like be doomed, and everything like that. So,
Good thing we won't be around to see it.
We're actually in an extinction period right now.
Yeah.
Are we?
It looks
Yeah,
like it.
it's called the Holocene because we've
Oh,
destroyed
no.
the planet's atmosphere and stuff like that. So we're technically like,
Don't we have until like 2050 to turn that around or something?
they
before it
always
becomes-
say that 2024, 2050, another 10 years, and they'll say we have another 10 years left, and it's going to keep on until because no one really knows when the Earth's just going to say, you know what, forget this, let's just eradicate humanity. You
Or
know?
like when the effects become irreversible, right? Right now, if we
They're already
immediately pump the
irreversible.
brakes on it,
They're already irreversible.
are they?
Yeah,
A good thing we were born in this year then.
we've created so many plastics, and plastic isn't,
Degradable.
biodegradable. That's the word. That basically be the lot. If humanity was wiped off the earth, plastic would literally be the last thing left of us.
If future aliens coming down would be like, what's this substance supposed to be?
Yeah, but they would understand, hopefully, that it requires intelligence to make that because it's not a naturally occurring polymer. So
Yeah, I'd imagine. I think we might be the people who send out you're the last ones left, be better than us message. Right.
Yeah, maybe.
I feel like by the time the planet dies, hopefully we'll be able to migrate to a new one or create some sort of biodome or something. Because the way the technology is going, I think that's possible.
Everyone's getting way too gassed over Mars. Mars.
So I mean, it's
Mars,
right next to us. We can't go Venus.
Mars is like there's so many problems in that.
Mars is the next option. I mean,
Yeah,
Venus could have been habitable, but
mate, Venus is basically just normal.
It could have been habitable, but nah, just no, we can't do that.
What was the topic list, Ibrahim?
So we've done Fermi Paradox and Great Filter Theory. The next one is how could we get to the next galaxy? So I've got an idea.
We're gonna be
I've got a few
dead by
ideas.
then. If we can't travel faster than light, how are we gonna go to the next galaxy?
Yeah, I'll explain that. Basically, the reason we can't go to another galaxy in time is because you need to go faster than the speed of light, and that requires energy. So the faster you go, the more energy you need. And there's not enough energy in the known universe to even get a single electron to the speed of light. So there's a bunch of different stuff.
Electrons travel faster than light.
As in, like, do that. Imagine an electron. Imagine like something the size of an electron. Not an electron, but the size of an electron. And you're carrying it there, and it wouldn't even be able to get to light. So you're shooting it from a cannon or something to get to, you wouldn't be able to do that. So what I'm trying to say is both things like sci-fi nonsense and real methods. Do you guys have any ideas? Because I have a few. If you want, I can start.
Antimatter.
That's the sci-fi stuff.
No, that's real. It actually exists.
Antimatter is a real thing, yeah.
Yeah, it exists, but we're not going to harness it anytime. Do we even have any of it?
Antimatter is a really bad word for what it really is.
Tiny bit.
No, we do. We have lots of it, actually. Antimatter.
Well, that we could harness.
It's not the opposite of matter.
Yeah, it's not the opposite. That's not even what it is.
I had a theory that it's not actually the opposite of matter. It's just another form of it. It's just like, because if you think about antimatter, the opposite of that is our normal matter. So really, you can't really call it antimatter. It's a bit racist.
What would even antimatter even look like?
I'm telling you, antimatter is literally just matter with the opposite charge.
Yeah, exactly.
So, like, you know how an electron is matter?
Yeah.
Right? It's antimatter would be a positron. That's its antimatter.
It's just a reverse, the mirror.
It's just but it's not even. It's still It's still matter. It's just got an opposite charge.
Yeah. Antimatter is just a dumb word for it. I think they just call it that because, I mean, it's not what we're used to. It's
Yeah,
not
yeah.
regular matter. It's the mirror opposite, so it's antimatter. But I don't think
Yeah.
they meant not matter with that. See, for
There are
me,
some really interesting theories about how the balance between matter and antimatter, about how the universe began. It's like it gets crazy. There are some big mysteries about it.
Yeah,
so
like
much
it should be
stuff.
like
Yeah,
an equal amount of antimatter, but there isn't. But I
yeah.
read about it.
Yeah, yeah,
Why
yeah.
there isn't, because it seems I literally got this physics book right in front of me, and it tells me why there isn't a equal amount of antimatter, and it
Why?
seems like for every billion early matter antimatter collisions, one particle of matter escapes. That's why.
But why not
But
one particle of antimatter?
I don't know. I
It's
don't
so
know.
weird.
God
Quantum
knows.
mechanics is just really weird. Like
God
logic is
knows.
off getting wankered in the
And,
corner with that.
and apparently bananas produce antimatter because of
Really,
its
that's cool.
because of
No, I
its
didn't know that.
That's the
it's really
problem with
active.
science, though. There's always a rule, but there's always an exception to that rule, and there's always an
Yeah.
exception to that rule's exception.
Yeah,
So annoying.
it's
But uh, yeah,
here's what I would have done.
when you said
Yeah,
traveling at the speed of light, you'd basically get torn apart by particles.
yeah. We won't have that.
Regardless.
You need like proper stuff to do that, like proper equipment. See,
Mm.
for me, I went for the not antimatter, not sci-fi route. I said we could freeze. You know, cryo.
Cryogenics.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I thought about First thing I did was think about freezing people, and then unfreezing them when we reached it, because it's 100 years away. And then I realized, okay, no, that definitely brain damages people. That might not work. But in the future, if we figure out how to unfreeze without brain damaging people, then that might be a thing. And the other thing I was thinking of was it's called a generation starship, where basically you have a crew, and they go, and then they raise the next generation in that starship, and then they have kids and raise that generation, and then by that generation you've reached it. And I thought
Basically,
about that. Yeah.
basically a massive orgy.
Okay, yeah, cool, definitely.
How'd you have enough fuel for that ship?
I mean, I don't think you need that much fuel in space, because like you just travel constantly. There's no friction,
Hey,
so you just keep going.
in
Yeah,
a
but
rocket ship,
gravity. Yeah.
in a rocket, 80% of the space is used for fuel, and that's just to get to the moon.
Just to get out, yeah. No. Just to get out of the
So,
atmosphere, actually.
yeah, because that's most
Just
of the energy requires that. So
Yeah, so I feel like once you're in a constant like speed, then you won't need any fuel. Maybe to direct yourself, but I don't even think you would need that.
you guys
But
do physics, right? Do you do physics?
I do.
I don't do it. No, I do
Right.
biochemistry.
Because there's this idea for an engine that could run like infinitely without any energy.
Oh, we haven't heard of
I
that
know
before.
it sounds impossible, right? Obviously, because you can't like destroy energy or create it. You can only convert it, right, Sarah Raj?
Yes.
Yes.
But basically the idea is that when you put a small amount of fuel in it, obviously the engine moves forward, and that creates kinetic energy, right?
Right.
Yes.
But if you harness that kinetic energy back into the system and then converted that
Oh.
into electrical energy and kept doing that constantly, it'd be reusing the same energy over and over again.
You'd definitely lose some, wouldn't you? Like that would go into heat and that'd go into sound.
Yeah, of course. But like basically, you could go like incredible distances with only tiny amounts of fuel.
That does sound cool if we had a way to do that.
Yeah. Obviously, right now it's impossible.
Yeah. Generation starships, by the way, wouldn't work because I'm pretty sure they'd be like social collapse or something before they even reach the second generation.
Yeah.
I mean, that happens on Earth all the time. Why wouldn't that happen on a spaceship with no one else and just black outside? Also, I think that'd be inhumane as well. You just raise humans and they've never seen the Earth and they've only seen space. So both my theories would only work if we had proper technology that would make us go faster. Any other ideas?
What? Okay, go on.
Teleportation.
Teleportation, yeah.
Bend the fabrics of reality and time and space and just goes right through.
Warp
Read
holes.
about it.
Wormhole.
Black
Wormholes.
hole.
Wormholes, yeah.
Well, that even exist. Actually, you know what? That'll take us a long time to get to a black hole if you think about it.
No, not
Yeah.
a black hole. Not a black hole. A black hole would
Yeah, rip
crush
us
you with
apart.
hypergravity.
That is true.
God damn it, Einstein. He screwed us over with the speed of light thing.
Yeah, but he helped us understand space is like 3D instead of just
Yeah.
2D forever.
For,
Basically, the wormhole like acts as like a fold in space.
yeah.
You know how like you're trying to get from one piece of one end of a piece of paper to the other end,
Just
right?
fold it.
Yeah.
You could go the long way and just draw a line straight, or you could fold the piece of paper and just basically be there immediately.
Yeah, I get that.
That's the whole concept of wormholes. That's folding space out time.
It'd be so
Okay.
cool if we could just control wormholes and you had like directions, like this wormhole leads to this area, this wormhole leads to that area,
Highway.
and it's like
Wormhole,
regular
highway.
traffic or something in space.
Yeah, that would be mad.
That's how you would colonize the galaxy, I think, probably.
Guys, do you think there's a theory like when you go through a black hole and you survive, that at the other side is like a white hole that pushes everything out?
Oh yeah,
I've heard of that.
thing.
Yeah.
And you can't enter the white hole. You're just stuck wherever.
Exactly,
it
you
is.
just can't.
Yeah, it's
how
like-
you
Yeah.
get back? There's no way getting back.
What are the subtopics then, Ibrahim?
We've got UFO cases. If they exist, why haven't they said anything? And radio wave. Actually, no, that's part of what I'm going to say. And then we have theories as well. You said you had a bunch of theories that you're really mad that you want to talk about. So I've written our theories for stuff.
Oh, what about personal experiences?
That's also there. That's part of UFO cases. UFO
right.
cases, personal
Obviously,
stuff. But that's far down the list because I'd rather go through all the big stuff first
Right,
and then
right,
go over
right.
the lightheaded stuff. So
what's the next topic then?
have you got? If they exist, why haven't they said anything? I have a theory on this. I can start if you want.
Yeah, go ahead.
So first of all, okay, we've had radio waves for about a century, and that's like our way of communication, right? With a lot of stuff. If aliens are smarter than us, they've probably got something way better than that. Like way, there's something that we haven't even invented yet. Because obviously, a lot of people assume that aliens would go down the same route as us. Like they'd start as like cave aliens, and then they'd grow up. They'd start opening bars and stuff like that. Slowly but surely, make cars and all those things and go way ahead of us. And so, obviously, if that's the case, then they've probably got something way better than radio waves. They probably don't use those. So even if we send something like a message, they probably won't even be able to hear us through it. And the other thing I thought was, if aliens are smarter than us, why would they even care if we sent a message? Because it's like, you know how we treat animals on Earth. Like we don't try and teach a cow English, or we don't try and teach a chicken. Like we don't take care of them. We don't treat them with respect as if they're humans because they're just not as smart as us. Like
Yeah.
so, I'd assume aliens would act the same way with us. Like, stop being idiots, and then we'll talk to you. That's probably what the aliens say.
Oh, I got another theory. What if they're like billions and billions of light years away, and light only travels like it's like
Oh yeah.
300 million meters per second, so it's gonna take billions of years to reach our message. So we'll be dead back then. So
Oh,
there's
yeah,
no
and
point.
and-
So there's no point.
Yeah, and if they try looking at our planet, they wouldn't
They'd
see
see
any life.
dinosaurs.
They don't see anything. They
They wouldn't see anything on there. Yeah,
We've been trolled.
that's actually really plausible. I agree with that.
That's true. They'd just be like, it's coming from somewhere else and just throw us away.
Yeah. To extend on Ibrahim's theory of like how they're so intelligent, I think Neil deGrasse Tyson said it quite well, which is that when you think about apes, right, like gorillas and chimpanzees,
Yeah,
the difference between our DNA is literally just 1%,
that is
Yeah.
right? But that 1% makes us incredibly
Bomber.
smarter, able to construct architecture, technology beyond any animal's imagination.
Yeah.
We're able to literally talk to each other right now, even though we're in different places. No animal can do that, besides obviously some sonar animals, that can communicate like that. But
dolphins.
and that 1% basically is that huge difference. Right,
Yeah.
when we teach chimps to like learn sign language, and that's cute to us because like our 2-year-olds learn sign language immediately. Well, not sign language,
Yeah.
but can communicate just as easily, right?
But they don't use it to communicate.
Yeah.
They just think it's signs, the single like signals. They don't even use it for anything.
Those are literally like adult members of a species that we're basically trying to teach something that our children know, right?
Yeah, something so easy. Like you can grasp it in seconds, and they can't. Like,
Yeah, and that is literally from 1% difference in DNA. Now imagine a species that is literally 100% different to us in DNA,
ooh,
right?
and they've constantly evolved and improved.
Yeah, and they have their own technology. And basically, them trying to explain something to us would be like trying to help an ant colony understand why we're making a road here or something right in front of their home, how would you explain it to them?
Yeah, you can't. They wouldn't even hear you or
Exactly.
understand.
And I highly
It's
doubt
kind
they
of like
actually
how
speak English. I highly doubt they speak English, so how are we going to communicate with them?
Well, duh.
no, the language might be so complex that we can't even understand it.
They might not even have language. They just might like communicate with each other like through
Brains.
anything else. Like like
Psychopathic.
brainwaves, pheromones, stuff like that.
Yeah, I think it's because like other animals see us like hairless apes that ride in iron birds and metal birds and like stuff like that. I think we'd see aliens like that as well. We'd just see them as like green things doing really weird stuff, and we would have no idea what's actually happening.
Oh yeah, ancient
But
aliens.
we'd think we'd have an understanding, but we really wouldn't.
Yeah, it would be literally their reasoning would be beyond our comprehension.
Yeah. Conversely, if they're dumber than us, then maybe we could teach them something, and they won't understand us, and it'll just be like regular animals. Who knows? Like we always assume that we're the inferior ones, but
yeah, it could
we
be
could
the
be
zoo theory.
smart.
Have you heard of the zoo theory?
No, what's the theory?
No.
It's basically like the idea that we're considered like an endangered species by aliens, and they might they might try and contain us on Earth because they don't want us to go extinct or something. So they'd like, prevent any contact with us so that we can evolve naturally. And obviously, a few aliens get through it, and that's how we see like UFO sightings and stuff like that. But
that'd be so interesting. Imagine the Earth is just a giant prison, and like if we explore, then the aliens are gonna like they're gonna send a message being like, "You humans were the most evil thing in the entire universe. Therefore, we've locked you on this Earth. If you try and explore any further, you will be annihilated," or something like that. That'd be so insane.
Personally, I think that's more of a religion. I think this Earth is actually hell. This is a living hell. So I think that, in my opinion, I think it's more of a religious thing.
Religion. I wonder if aliens even have religion.
No, they're probably too smart for that.
If they did have religion, because even with the smartest people, like there's going to be some people in there who are going to believe this. I just imagine between us aliens and like with God, and God being there like the favorite child and like the favorite of the family, and we're just here with our nukes and missiles and stuff destroying ourselves. they're
like kind of ridiculous to think that. Oh yes, a bipedal hairless ape species in a tiny planet in a very, very small galaxy in the corner of the universe. Yeah, God cares specifically about us.
Yeah, exactly.
What
is it?
That an incomprehensible small space that we take up.
Yeah, I never understood why would you make the galaxy so big as well. Like, if God does exist, like, what's the point? Like, we're obviously not, unless in the very, very far future, we're most likely not going to explore it before the sun explodes and we will die a horrible death.
Heard of Panspermia?
What's that?
I think I've heard of it, but I don't know what it is.
Yeah, it's
tell for the audience and me.
It's basically the idea that planets basically don't come up with life themselves. There are some planets that do, but basically the way that life spreads throughout the universe is through asteroids. Like asteroids carry small traces of water and like some cells or bacteria, and they literally just land on a different planet. Yeah, and the bacteria
package from space.
It's
basically like plants.
Yeah. The plants come from space. That's how like.
Yeah, no, but I mean like pollination in plants.
Right, yeah, I get you. Imagine a meteor. Remember that meteor that flew over UK like not that long ago, and it had a bright sky.
My mum saw that,
Yeah. I know. I never see any of these things ever.
I never saw. She literally said, "Sauna, what's that?" And I was like, "What?" And the basic's gone. That is so annoyed.
Even with the supersonic boom that happened in the UK, I didn't hear that either. Probably because I was like,
when was that?
I remember that they were doing like a test launch in the UK, and there was like this supersonic boom. But even though it wasn't, it was loud.
Was it yesterday?
Yesterday?
No, not yesterday. It was a while ago.
When?
Let me look up. I don't remember when it was, but it was. We talked about it on the chat. So.
Oh right. I heard that. I thought it was a gunshot.
I heard like literally like yesterday. I heard like a huge gunshot sound coming from.
Oh no! It was an RAF thing.
Yeah, I had no idea.
Yesterday.
Yeah, it went so quiet afterwards, like literally dead silent.
It was the
It's like
12th of January. 12th of
song
January.
got my head.
Oh right, so it's not
Yeah,
that
that's it.
obviously. Must have seen something else.
There was a bunch of videos on it, and it was like, oof. But apparently that meteor was really close to hitting us, but it just passed by. But if it was a little bit closer, it would have hit us.
Oof.
Can you imagine like a Mars variant of the COVID comes? The
Probably,
Mars,
you know,
the
never know.
alien variant of space COVID.
Never know.
Maybe.
What is what's after this topic, Ibs?
We're talking about our crazy alien theories, so you could
Yeah.
start with that one if you want. I think we're pretty
Oh,
much done with this one anyway. So if you
Yeah,
want
I
to talk
think
about,
that's all the theories you can really get out.
have you got all your theories in?
About aliens? No, not ones that are really viable because some of them are just crazy. Just
Go with your craziest one. That's what we're doing.
that UFOs aren't really aliens and they're humans from the future, basically time traveling backwards.
Oh, wow.
And it's like a tour to just see how we are back then. I think that's pretty likely.
That's alright.
You know?
Yeah, we just go back to. We just go to. We discover another alien planet. We go by, and everyone looks like us. And we're just
Yeah.
like, huh? And they're like, "Oh, has the Earth exploded yet?" And we're just like, "What?" That'd be. I feel like though, if they were traveling, they'd want to announce themselves or something.
No, why? It wouldn't make sense.
Like, yeah, I mean, if they are future humans, though, then they.
No. You don't want to mess up with time, innit?
I guess, but I feel like some humans wouldn't really
There is
care.
there's this thing if you actually travel the speed of light and say nothing bad happens to you, like you don't have any negative effects, you actually travel the speed of light, you actually don't age.
Oh
you
yeah,
can actually
time is
see-
weird.
Yeah, you can actually see the future, and they're probably like visiting back, like, oh, what was time like then back, or then, actually, no, back then, or like probably people in the future might come visit.
Yeah, come on.
Come back.
Time is relative, guys.
Like secretly
Relative.
going at that speed. Never know.
Like yeah, if you had like two twins and you threw one baby into space at a speed of light and kept the other one on Earth, when the Earth baby grows up here, the other one will still be a baby when it comes back. That's how it kind of works.
That's
That's
pretty crazy. Yeah.
insane.
If it's alive, I guess.
You guys are twins and just one's older than you. What?
That reminds me of like the Avengers film, like where they go into that thing. Well, that's the different thing. What about UFO cases then? Have you got any UFO cases that you want to talk about?
Man, there's so many.
Go on,
many.
Sona. You start us off then.
Oh gosh. All right. There's a case of the Phoenix Lights. If you've heard of that one,
Go on, describe it for everyone.
have you heard of it, Sir Rog?
I think I have.
Do you remember it? Do you want to explain it?
I think I don't know if I'm getting confused about the headlights, like a normal car drives.
Oh no,
You
it's not
just
that. It's not that.
That's something else. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm getting confused.
So it's basically there's this area in Arizona called Phoenix, and one day there was like these triangular shaped lights.
Oh, I think I've heard
one
of it.
huge triangle. Yeah, and that there were like hundreds of calls, like the police and the military, saying like there's some mad lights up there.
Was it in New Jersey?
No, it was Phoenix, mate.
Oh,
Arizona.
there was a similar one in New Jersey. That's what I
I think
think.
I've heard of it. Yeah.
Yeah, and so basically, there were so many calls that the military was forced to like send jets out there to see what it was. And when the jets went out, they were basically like, "We don't see anything. Like, there's nothing here." And that's when they were told to look up, and they basically saw that the ship was like, whatever it was still above them. So it was like a few kilometers in the sky, meaning that its entire length would be like incredibly huge. Yeah, and then it basically just disappeared.
Do you have any reasonings for that, or do you think aliens?
No.
I don't really know.
I think I do. People were LSD back in the day, man. They were on LSD, man. They were tripping, all of them.
Collectively, everyone at once.
Yeah, man.
They all saw the same thing.
When did this happen? What year?
Oh, it was like this was like just when phones were becoming available. Like
yeah,
mobile
man.
phones.
Everyone was tripping back then. Everyone must have been on LSD then.
And then there's the case of Oh man, there are so many. There's Lonnie Zamora, the police officer.
Uh-huh.
There's
You want
Betty
to tell
and
that
Barney Hill, which is my mum's favorite case.
one?
I
Go and
heard
tell
about
it.
the real
Which
life
one? Which
Men in
one?
Black.
Which one?
The one that your mum's favorite case, whatever that one was.
So Betty and Barney Hill. This is the case where basically, you know, the whole idea of alien that's green with big eyes and the big head, that whole picture of an alien.
Oh yeah.
It literally originated in this case.
Oh, go on.
So basically, this man and this woman, obviously Betty and Barney Hill, right? They were
Yeah.
traveling along a road, and basically they saw some lights behind them, and obviously, you know, that's not. It's weird, but it's not something incredible. So they saw the lights behind them, and they were continuing to travel, and they were basically doing this route where they've done this route like hundreds of times, so they know it takes like a certain amount of time. I think it takes 4 hours or something. And when they saw the lights were there, and then they went, and you know that whole ordeal was over. But when they got home, they found out that the trip took them like way longer, like 6 hours, I think. And they were basically really confused over where those extra 2 hours went, because they know that the journey takes 4 hours and nothing out of the ordinary happened, right? And so basically, in order to recount the events, I think Barney Hill died at some point. So Betty was the only survivor. And she went under hypnosis so that, you know, people could access her subconscious and see what happened during those 2 hours. And they basically, when she was under like hypnosis, she basically said that at some point Barney got out of the car and she got out of the car, and the light basically became blinding, and then they went to sleep, and when they woke up they were inside this place with these things around them, these obviously the stereotype alien.
Yeah.
And they were basically doing stuff and telling her like some amazing stuff, and they were basically there for 2 hours. They didn't do anything really crazy, they just like took samples and stuff like that. When she was leaving, now ordinarily this wouldn't be like amazing because there's no actual evidence of this, right? But when she was leaving, she asked the aliens where they were situated in the you know, in the galaxy or universe, whatever. And they basically told her, they gave her a map and explained where they were. And she, while under hypnosis, basically just drew this perfectly accurate map of stars and constellations of where these aliens were. And she basically like said that this is where they are. And obviously we haven't been there and we don't know what's going on there, but you know, that's apparently where aliens are. So
yeah, that's actually interesting. Didn't they have like ripped clothes and stuff as well when they got like back?
No.
I think they just gave her LSD, man.
You think everyone's just high?
Kidnap? Yeah, everyone's just like. I remember there was one. It was called the Melbourne 350. It was basically like there were 300 students from Westall High School, and they saw like 5 planes that were trying to corner a UFO, and then this went on, and then the UFO zipped out of sight, and then the headmaster and the headmaster met like these strange men in black suits, and they were like, "Don't say anything about it," even though it had been witnessed by like 300 people. They were like, "Don't say anything about it." I have no idea how real that is, but apparently that's another one. Even though that seems really unlikely. I'd even corner a UFO in the sky.
I think they were just trolls, man. They just don't say anything about it. Just pretending we're something very important. We're not. We're just trolling you.
See, the problem is, like, all of these cases, you never know if they're trying to do it for attention or if they actually mean it or not.
Well,
there's always that mistrust there.
For me, the most
Area 51.
Area 51. I think that's just testing, like nuclear testing, secret.
Yeah, I honestly think it's like the biggest like disappointment ever. I honestly think it's just the military.
We're gonna take over.
just to be honest, if there was something like something really, really secretive going on somewhere, that we probably wouldn't even know its name. We wouldn't even know that it exists.
Yeah, exactly. Like it'd probably be Area 52
like,
underneath Area 51.
Yeah, or like some. Yeah.
Imagine Area 51's a decoy or something, and it's like the real one's somewhere else.
Yeah, Sarabaj, have you got any cases that you know of, by the way?
No, but my dad said he's seen a UFO one time. And
no. Explain that later then. In experiences. Explain that later.
Yeah.
Yep, the good thing that's literally next.
Oh yeah, but I have one more case that I want to talk about. It's not really a case, it's still ongoing actually.
Go on.
and for me, it's the most convincing one.
Uh-huh.
Basically, in the east of Egypt, right?
Right.
There's this tribe called the Dalgon Tribe.
Yeah.
And they were first contacted by wider society in the 1930s. And when they were contacted, they apparently had their own scientific theories. They knew the atom, apparently.
Damn.
Right? They had their own idea of string theory and how realities branch off according to different vibrations and strings, which is basically what we believe right now.
What?
Right? And obviously, when they were asked how they have this information, and they also knew that the Earth is round and that it revolves around the sun.
Yeah.
Right, just something that they shouldn't have known because it's the first time they're being contacted. Right. So when they were asked how they knew this, they basically said that they were visited by these spirits from the sky they call the Nomos.
Oh yeah.
And they basically told the researchers exactly where the Nomos were. They basically said they're in the Sirius constellation, in the third planet. And at that time, there'd only been one planet discovered in the Sirius constellation, Sirius A, right?
Uh-huh.
And they basically said, I guarantee you're going to find a second one. And after the second one, you're going to find a third one. And on the third one, that's the one that they're on.
Yeah.
Right? And I'm not sure when actually, but we did find a second planet in that constellation, Sirius B.
Damn, really?
Right? From the orbits of the two planets and its sun, and the gravitational forces on it, there seems to be a third planet there too that we haven't quite discovered yet. But all evidence points to it existing, meaning that if this planet does exist and there's a third planet in this constellation, just like the Dalgon Tribe are saying, and that there are these Nomos that live there that basically told them about all this stuff. I think that's crazy.
Might be a thing. Or they could have made up, who knows?
How though? How could they know that about atoms and string theory then?
I don't know, because there's a lot of things that just don't really, that you can just kind of make up. I don't know, honestly, that seems really interesting.
Yeah.
Thing. Did they refer to it as atoms though? Or did they just say small?
No, they had their own names for it, but they had the same concept for it, that there are tiny things that make up everything regardless of what it is.
Yeah. See, I don't know, honestly. That seems like really interesting. I have one more thing. I have a theory. I have one more thing that's it's not an alien case, but it's there's theories to it being a part of aliens. But have you heard of the Mayan Civilization?
Yeah.
So
yeah.
Eventually, they were thriving, right? And then they suddenly vanished. And there's theories that aliens kidnapped them. There's other theories as well, like overpopulation and ruining the lands and stuff. But they disappeared really fast. So why do you think that happened? Do you guys think aliens or
probably
They just died at the same time?
probably overpopulation? Yeah, I just wanted to bring that up because there's a lot of people who say aliens on that stuff. I didn't ask this, but what do you guys think aliens look like? Because do you think they look traditional or?
That's like asking, what do you think any animal on Earth looks like? There are too many animals to.
Yeah, as in your
vary
best
way too
generic
I
I
think they look like crackheads. That's what I think.
See, I
Big
always thought of
eyes.
them like lizard people.
Pale skinned. Yeah, so everybody's right. Big eyes, pale skin, short.
Yeah.
That's a crackhead right there.
There you go. Yeah, no, you're doing the crack makes you short. All right, final topic. Personal experiences. Have you got any?
Oh man, yeah, but
Only my dad.
I think you guys should go first.
Go on, Salad. You can go first, then me, and then
My
so.
dad said he's seen a UFO one time and just 2 fighter jets went after it, and that's about it.
Really? When was that?
That's it. I don't know, like a long time ago.
Oh.
That's a good story. Good story.
Yeah.
I remember once. Yeah, we were at this dinner party, and I saw a light. And realistically, now at this point, it was probably a plane, but it was a really big light going across the sky. And I was like, and people were joking "Oh, it's aliens, it's aliens." And I was like, "Why are you joking about this? It has to be aliens. Look at it." Obviously, it probably wasn't, but
Do you think it's a
Probably
meteor?
a shooting star. It's probably
I was like, I have to get out of there. I'm gonna die in the party.
Could it have been a meteor though?
I'm not sure, but it wasn't. It was like a plane light, but a little bit bigger. So I don't know.
Must have been a
Not a
shooting
meteor light. That was
Maybe a helicopter?
a helicopter shooting star was the thing that people were saying, but it was way too slow for that. I mean, it could have been a
Right.
helicopter. It just looked a lot bigger than it should have been. Not that big, but still a lot bigger.
Mm.
And then eventually it just like dimmed out and it was gone. Oh, what about you, Dad? You got the clearly most interesting story.
Oh man, there are too many. But I'll go through the most interesting ones. First one was when my mum was a kid. She saw it. I never saw it, obviously. But when my mum was a kid, her and her brother, my uncle, shared a room. And they were basically both in bed at some point, and the windows were open and the beds were facing the windows.
Yep.
And she said basically she remembers that while she was awake, she was looking at it, at this this egg-shaped object, right? You know how like an
Right.
egg looks on its side, like a semicircle,
Yeah,
right? Yeah, but it was like she said it was the size of the moon, and it was right next to the moon.
yeah. Whoa.
Yeah, and she said she just stared at it for bare long, and she woke up, obviously, my uncle, and they both got scared, and it happened like 2 days in a row. And that
Did
was
anyone else mention it?
no. She just basically says that, yeah, I don't know what that was, but yeah, it was scary. She thinks it's obviously aliens, but you know, she's a big UFO fan. But yeah,
If it was there for 2 days, I feel like it would have made news or we
no,
would have
it
heard of
wasn't
it.
there for 2 days. It appeared at night for 2 days
Oh, I
in a
see.
row. Yeah. So
Well, for the whole night.
no. It wasn't for the whole night. She just
Damn.
saw it go and come back and go, basically.
I feel
And
like
then,
aliens are kind of playing games with us. Like they come sometimes show themselves and then other times
yeah,
disappear.
it's actually crazy. And then another time I saw was when I was in the car in East Ham. Oh man, East Ham.
East Ham.
Right.
Are you sure you
Yeah.
went? Are you sure there's aliens on Earth? It's probably in East Ham.
Yeah, probably. Yeah. Yeah, that's definitely where they'd go, I reckon. But
Yeah.
I was sitting in the car and I was watching. I saw these two tubes in the sky,
Yeah.
and they were black, right? And at first I thought they were plastic bags, just going in the wind.
Yeah.
But then I realized that they weren't changing their shape like plastic bags would in the wind. They were like maintaining their shape, and they were following each other.
Oh.
Like one would do like a loop, and the other one would also do a loop, and they were basically going past each other, and they were going across the road and stuff like that. And I didn't know what it was. Obviously, I thought immediately that's an alien, fam, because I was young.
Yeah.
And me and my mum were talking about it recently, and she said it might have been a kite, like someone with a kite, one of those big kites that has like two parts to it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. But then I said like basically no, because first of all it was over like a junction, so no one's flying a kite in the middle of the road, and it was going past houses like different streets. So unless someone's like a marathon runner and getting past without me seeing them in the middle of the road with the kite,
Yeah.
I think it's highly unlikely that it was a kite.
If they were attached, then maybe they would follow each other. Like I don't think they'd both do loop stuff, but they'd
Yeah,
both like.
I don't know what it was, but it was kind of crazy.
Oh, you were tripping.
You've had a lot of stories. Like you had a ghost story to tell and a alien story.
Yeah. It's mad.
Interesting.
And then the last one was when I was walking with my uncle down a street, and we had just gotten Chinese takeaway, and we're walking back home. And then I looked up in the sky, and I saw this it was like a really shiny pen-shaped object, like a thin like cigar. Imagine,
Yeah.
but made of shiny metal, right?
Yeah.
And the second I looked at it, I obviously told my uncle, and we were both looking at it. What is that? And then after we looked at it, after about like 5 seconds, it just turned around. And when it turned around, all the shine went and it just blended into the sky.
Whoa.
Yeah, it just it either blended in or it vanished, because it literally changed its orientation, and that was the sky there now. And I was like, it's almost like it knew that we were looking at it, and then it just changed its shape.
Wow.
That was mad. Yeah.
We've reached our timer, by the way. We've reached the 55-minute mark. That's pretty good. I want to ask one final question, and then we'll edit. After everything from this discussion, do you believe that aliens exist or not? Go inside it. You start.
Well, like
Take everything into
proper
perspective,
aliens,
like filter theories and all that.
like proper aliens. Not really, but like little tiny organisms out of space. Yeah, I think they actually are real. I think there's scientific evidence that they're actually real, like tiny organisms out of space, like the Martian bacteria.
I
They
see.
exist, but real aliens. I have no idea. I still don't know. Maybe,
Yeah.
maybe they're just like billions of light years away. Probably, yeah.
Yeah. What about you, Sonu? You've had the most experience personally with them. So, what
Uh,
do you think?
for the most part, I agree with Sarah Brudge. I think a UFO is just that. It's not an alien. It's just something that's unidentified. So you
I
can't
see.
automatically call it. Which is why like so many militaries don't call it UFO anymore, because of like whenever you say UFO, you immediately think alien. So when they
Yeah.
have like a genuinely unidentified aircraft, they call it a UAP, unidentified aerial phenomena.
Or
Oh, okay.
UAV.
No one's ever
UAP,
gonna
yeah,
forget about UFO, though. That's the word.
exactly. But I think life on other planets is almost certain. Aliens coming down to abduct people, all that. Some of the stories are convincing, but I'm yet to be convinced.
Hmm.
What about you, Ibs?
I think the sheer amount of stories and the amount of people that have experienced it, I think that they do exist. Full aliens, proper ones. I think that they're way smarter than us, and I think they're playing games with us as well. I think what they're doing is they probably come down, collect specimen data, and then leave immediately, or something along those lines. Because the amount of things they have there. But
There's a theory that they might have like a deal with governments around the world, like where they give information about really cool technology in exchange for being able to abduct some of us every now and again to like basically test us and observe us.
damn, you know
Yeah,
what? I would want to get if I was about to die, I'd want to get killed by an alien just to see
Nice.
them. But yeah, I'd say that I do think they exist. I think that we aren't the only drunken experiment nature took. Like nature's drunken experiments are amazing. Like you've got mules, Arsenal supporters, humans, all these drunken experiments nature took. You know,
Manchester
pretty great.
United supporters.
Yeah, those are. I don't even think nature made those ones. I think devil made those ones. But you know how it is.
Hey, don't blame them on me, mate. You're sullying the name of Satan.
I think at least to make us all feel better, we're the smartest people that we know. Like right, we're the smartest species that we know.
Just like ants are the smartest species they know.
Exactly. Yeah. This is how we're gonna make ourselves feel better. So yeah, you both don't think they exist properly, and I think they do exist. I think another thing as well. A lot of people think that we'll never ever reach space. Like the chances are so unlikely. But I mean, we said the same thing about reaching the moon. We said the same thing about like going across the giant sea and stuff like that. Like we've had a pretty good track record. All those things were
Yeah.
impossible when we did them.
Eventually,
so I think give humans time and we will get there. I think.
yeah, almost certainly
You
would
still have
eventually
faith.
overcome.
Because all those
No,
things are
don't
like
have faith.
flying as well.
Don't
all
have
those things.
faith. Faith is a stupid way of finding the truth.
Yeah.
All right, it requires no evidence whatsoever. I could have faith that I'm just a giant brain somewhere, right? Doesn't mean it's true.
Yeah, but it could be. That's what you're having faith for.
Exactly. Faith is stupid. It doesn't help you find the truth. I can have faith in anything.
Well, what word would you use then?
I would use
Have hope.
no, because hope is all right.
Believe.
It could be psychologically calming, but it won't actually do anything.
don't
You know
give
that-
up on the idea of.
You know that more than
aliens.
anyone, Ibs, all right? The power of
Have,
psychology, right?
The power of sight, yeah.
Have
Placebos,
a
all that
futuristic
stuff.
insight. I think
Yeah.
I think that'd
All
be
right, yeah. We will get there eventually, though. Humans will figure it out. We'll crack
This
the case.
This is glimpses of the series finale, by the way.
Yeah,
We're gonna call it the big one.
the big one. Yeah, that's gonna be like 2 hours long. Everyone's gonna be
You know,
here.
it might be. You know, it might actually be.
Everyone's gonna be here for that one, not just 3 people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, I think we might as well wrap it up because we've reached like the hour mark now. I'm pretty sure. There's not a lot of people to thank this time. It's just Soda for appearing.
You're
Sarah
very
Brudge, of course. He's gonna have some music to play for us as well. We're gonna put in.
Yes.
Anil, our backbone man, who's been recording and editing these things. We haven't actually uploaded episode 3 before this one, but that's gonna happen soon. And we've also got me, of course. I'm very important. I'm a host. Yeah.
Not a very good one though.
No, very good
Yeah,
one.
I'm gonna
I always
take it.
forget to announce myself. I didn't announce myself this time though, did I?
There may be a revolution sometime in the future.
You gotta wait for season 2 for that. At least let me lead for season 1.
Season 1's always the best season of anything, man. Come on.
Yeah,
Kind of
we're all gonna lose passion.
We're gonna run out
hopefully
of
not.
topics. We're gonna get to a point where is hot dog a sandwich is gonna be the big discussion.
You don't know, food might be a new topic, a next topic.
Oh,
That's a good topic,
So
actually.
much things for
I've
that.
given so many ideas on that. Like, it's
Pineapple,
so
pineapple
much.
was created by the Nazis, all right. To put on pizza, it's Hitler worship.
oh my
You know
god,
he's
because
vegetarian.
it's between food and feminism. Because for every single podcast, we're bringing up, feminism's a new thing for
we
another
gotta
time.
talk about feminism at some point.
Wait, just believe in gender equality.
So I think, you know how we did a vote between aliens and fear? We'll do one for food and feminism again, and then one after the other.
All right, cool.
Hopefully it'll go better and both will be interesting, but we'll see how it is.
Yeah.
Now, it might be interesting to have a go for that one as well. Feminism. Just have both sides. But we're not going to get one though, so that's...
You can.
We have people who would want to, like Sam. I don't think Sam would want to come to
There's
this
some
one though.
stories I can share about feminism, mate.
There's plenty. I've got so many. All right.
Yeah.
I think we'll call it there. So
Yeah.
thanks for watching episode 4, everyone.
Good night, everyone.
Good night.
Good
All right. Sarbrot's got a very special song for us. I didn't know his name. All right, take it away, Sarbrot.